One thing it seems that many of y'all forgetting is that you have to pay to play. Even if you really think as a grown-ass man that granddaddy and them were not faithful men. Say granddaddy and them did have second and third families outside of the household and granddaddy was paying all the bills. Granddaddy was still paying all the bills at both houses. That's what y'all not going to talk about. That granddaddy had money and granddaddy had to pay to play. So if he wanted that woman to shut up and not tell his wife that he was cheating, he had to pay her. But listen, and then still kept grandma in mink coats, okay, Cadillacs and Lincolns. Y'all out here pretending that that wasn't a thing. If y'all really want to talk facts, granddaddy was going to the plant every single day, working overtime, got in a skilled trade. If he had other women, he was paying them other women.
I gotta give her a little bit of credit because this is true. Now, this wasn't my grandfather's. However, I did work in a plant, and so one of the places that I worked at was called Rouge Steel, which was formerly Ford Steel. And then also on top of that, what it was the Ford plant that they made the F-150. So it's literally one of the biggest facilities that Ford got inside of the United States of America. And so it was we was local 600, and we was basically all a part of the same UAW, and we was all kind of working the same and rocking out, but we was all just at different plants. I was at steel. Other people were in assembly and all of that. Some people was at a stamping plant. And then you had other people that was coming over from making the Mustang and stuff like that. But they assembled the Ford F-150 there. And there is a lot of truth to it. Now, I'm going to add some context, and we're going to spin the block, and I'm going to play it from the beginning just so we can get the full context of every single thing that she said. Shout out to y'all that sent me this video. Also, I like to make sure that I put a link to the content creator in the description so I can give them credit regardless of whether or not I agree with them or not. And then last but not least, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We got work to do, y'all. We had to meet up this weekend. It was awesome. Stock Club is coming up. Everything is coming up, so make sure y'all tap into that. But in a general sense, there is a lot of truth to what she's saying because I remember a lot of these guys, they had to work way past when they was in retirement because they was getting their checks smashed and child support. They had other children. A lot of them was going to work to get away, or they would stay at work not just to make the money, but to get away from the woman that they had to deal with on a regular basis because they knew that they had to keep their families together, and it was also cheaper to keep her than it was for them to leave her alone. And so the sense of loyalty had to do with duty. It had nothing to do with the fact that they acted like the person that they was rocking with. But let me spin the block for a minute, and then I'm going to add the full context because I'm at that perfect age at 42 years old where I've seen some things and I'm also aware of what's happening out in these streets today. Let me spin the block, get the full context, and then we're going to break it down.
The thing it seems that many of y'all forgetting is that you have to pay to play. Even if you really think as a grown-ass man that granddaddy and them were not faithful men. Say granddaddy and them did have second and third families outside of the household and granddaddy was paying all the bills. Granddaddy was still paying all the bills at both houses. That's what y'all not going to talk about. That granddaddy had money and granddaddy had to pay to play. So if he wanted that woman to shut up and not tell his wife that he was cheating, he had to pay her. But listen, and then still kept grandma in mink coats, okay, Cadillacs and Lincolns. Y'all out here pretending that that wasn't a thing. If y'all really want to talk facts, granddaddy was going to the plant every single day, working overtime, got in a skilled trade. If he had other women, he was paying them other women. Some of them, granddaddy was paying a whole nother mortgage at a different house that grandma didn't even know about.
That's
because
a fact.
Grandma wasn't suffering. The kids weren't lacking at anything or for anything. That's what y'all grown ass men, some of y'all don't understand. Some of y'all don't understand that granddaddy still took care of the household, even though he had another household. And then he was taking care of both households at the same time. Y'all just want to be out here just a womanizing and having sex and putting y'all penises because you feel like you deserve all these women. Granddaddy had money and paid the bills for everybody still. So all y'all broke asses out here, I ain't gonna have 50-50. No, 50-50 men were not getting the women that was your grandmama, your great-grandmama. And
She's right to an extent, but granddaddy was also a simp. Absolutely. And then the other context of it is it's not just about whether or not it's 50-50 or not. It's more or less about the fact that when he got with grandmother, she was a wife. And so y'all as a women today, modern women, don't exhibit the same characteristics. And I'm going to get into the whole family part and all of that too. These women today don't exhibit some of the same characteristics of the women of yesteryear. And I'm not even talking about the immediate generation right above me. I'm talking about the generation before that, right? You know, women knew how to be quiet. They knew how to dress to an extent in a lot of instances. Um, you know, to an extent in a lot of instances, they wind up going to baseball games or when I went out, they knew how to dress up. They knew how to be quiet. They held the family together. They wasn't single baby mamas. They wasn't hopping from man to man to man. Now, it was a lot of situations where, you know, you might not even have known who your real daddy is because you don't look like your granddaddy or your father didn't look like his granddaddy, but that's an entirely different conversation. I think that they was paying to play in a lot of instances. I've known a lot of old school dudes and a lot of these dudes that was paying to play. However, they suffered. They did. They suffered. I knew guys that was in their 50s and 60s having kids by women that they should not have been with in the first place. And they did. They wound up having to pay child support and all of this stuff. And they worked all the way up until the day that they died. All the way up until the day that they died. So what I'm also saying is that that's not no life to live. I say in a lot of instances that the men that came before us in a lot of instances failed us. 100% simping out, thinking you got to spend money on women in order to get them and stuff like that. No, we need to learn how to make sure that you slot them accordingly as far as the type of women that you inviting into your sphere. And a lot of those women was finessing the guys because they knew that they can get them and they can get taken care of as a result of getting pregnant or becoming a, you know what I'm saying, whatever situation and stuff is. So what I'm saying is, yes, she is correct. The additional context is that we got to learn and do little things a little bit differently. As it's, first of all, y'all not the same women as grandmama. That's great grandmama. Y'all different from her. Okay. Number two, it don't mean that you need to get with a woman that already got children and getting with and becoming a step baby daddy. That's not a thing. They was not fighting with each other, man, and all of that type of stuff. Number three, y'all don't know how to be quiet. Number four, it's a whole nother situation for a lot of guys and for the economy because y'all don't make the type of money that they was making. And number five, the main thing that we need to glean from this conversation is that these women right now in these videos and stuff are trying to justify getting paid to give up box. That's all they advocated for feminism. They wanted to work. They want to participate in the workplace. Grandmama wasn't trying to do that. Great grandmama wasn't trying to get involved in all of that nonsense. Grandmoms was trying to make sure that she raised the children and she moved away. But y'all want your cake and you want to eat it too. And you want this dude over here and you don't want to be quiet and you want to say something. You want to talk too much. And so I'm not advocating for the type of relationship that they used to have back in the day. I think it's bits and pieces that you can take from it that would ultimately lead you to being successfully married and in a relationship. However, it was a whole nother time, a whole nother woman, a whole nother man, a whole nother type of financial situation and all of that. And more importantly, they were looking to get married. They was not looking to just be taken care of. It's a different type of thing. And those dudes was simping. Absolutely. Listen, this is what I believe, and I firmly believe it, and I stand on it. You have the Anton Daniels seal of approval on this message that I'm about to tell you right now. Do not, under any circumstances, go off here and go tricking on women that don't have your best interest at heart. Let me say it once again for the people in the back because I know that y'all don't get it. Don't go out here tricking on women that don't have your best interest at heart. Meaning that even the women that you get with and you marry, ultimately they are supposed to be adding value into your life and they are not supposed to just be a nuisance because the box alone is not enough. It never will be. The box alone is not enough. Any woman that's in your life, she needs to be returning a significant amount of value and pulling her weight. And y'all don't even weigh less than grandmama and great grandmama did when they first got together. But that's a whole nother conversation. I'm curious as to what y'all think. Again, I always link back to the content creator. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the Patreon. The link is in the description. The Bag Chasers, we running it up. We getting that money. And then I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to read y'all comments. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.